Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm joined here with Marco Messina and Adamo Ritaco. Guys, as you can see, I'm finally back from vacation. Once again, my apologies for not being able to post many videos in these past few days. I've been having a crazy last week of vacation. Finally back from Italy, and with that, I just want to take the chance to thank these two fine gentlemen for supporting me and actually being able to record some videos while I was gone. So thank you, Adamo and Marco, for doing that. And you guys could follow them on Twitter and of course on Italian Football TV. If you're not yet subscribed, please do that. You can find all the links for that in the description box below. But guys, let's talk about this Milan sale because it has finally occurred. Now, let me just share a little moment before I actually get into it because this is just hilarious. So as you guys all know, we've been waiting for this moment for years now. Literally every week we've been hearing reports saying this is the week, this is when it's going to happen, and then it was always getting postponed to another week, to another month, and so forth. Well, guys, let me share with you this story. Pretty much, I was just about to take off to return home, and I just get an alert on my phone saying Milan got sold. I'm like, what are the chances? The moment I'm leaving Italy, the club gets sold, just randomly like that. Like,
That's insane, man.
just a crazy coincidence like that. And yes, I did speak to Berlusconi before leaving Italy, and that is why it happened. And no, I'm just kidding, guys. But in all honesty, it was just crazy to witness such a thing right before taking off, returning home. And it's just like, wow. Just imagine the buzz I got on that flight from all that.
I got some conspiracy theories. Right when you get on the plane, they're sold. Come on.
Who knows? Who knows? But guys, let's speak about the sale because, as I said, it finally got done with, and this brings Berlusconi's 30-year presidency to an end. Really, a presidency full of success, lots of trophies won. He really did a lot for the club. It's been reported by many news outlets out there that really what he achieved with this club throughout the years is just remarkable from any viewpoint. And finally, he gave it away to the Chinese, which I'll be speaking about the figures right now. He sold it for 740 million euros. This also includes 220 million of debts that were accumulated throughout these years. Now, the name of the representative of these Chinese investors is An Li. The final closing of the agreement will actually be taking place at the end of 2016. So many of you are probably wondering if this means, just because we signed the preliminary agreement yesterday, if this means that we will be investing crazy funds in this transfer window. That will not be the case. We will still have to wait until the final closing is done. That is a bit of the downfall with all this. And Milan will still be kind of obligated to loan players with either obligation to buy or so that will be the case, really. Now, what do you guys think about the sale? I've been reading a lot of comments from different people. For some reason, some people are actually not so happy about this move because they wanted Berlusconi to remain president. Maybe someone would have been there to invest the funds, maybe be Berlusconi's right-hand man, putting in the funds into the team. But some people are really upset that the complete takeover has been decided now, and Chinese are over this club. What do you guys think about that, Marco?
I mean, I think first of all, like you said, Berlusconi deserves a lot of credit. 30 years with Milan, and he won something like 29 titles. It's incredible. But I do think that now football is in a different place than it was. He's had a lot of success, but in today's day, I think it was best to move on. It's best to give it to the Chinese who can invest money and who have the right intentions for the club and who could help them grow, because we know that Milan need to be on a plan. You said about the funds being invested. It's going to take time. It's not going to come overnight. You sign an agreement and, you buy everyone. But I think this is the right step. I think that they finally gotten this over their head, and I'm happy that we can move on from the situation.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Adamo, it has been reported that these investors will actually be spending 350 million, at least that's what has been reported, over these next 3 years, with a guaranteed 100 million in the next transfer window. That is in January. Exciting times for every Milan fan, I have to say, because these are great funds. Hopefully, we'll have the privilege of actually seeing some great players coming in at Milan and not see what we witnessed last summer, where we kind of made some sketchy signings with 20 million going towards Bertolacci, just to name a few. But what do you think this time? Will the money actually be invested right? There's also been talks that Galliani could actually leave during the final closing that is expected to arrive, as I mentioned before, at the end of 2016. So what do you think about the whole situation with also Marco Fassone, the ex-former Inter director, possibly coming into the team?
I mean, realistically, we can only hope and pray that they do spend that money wisely. But if you ask me, I think the best part of this Berlusconi sale is, and something that's kind of conflicting with people like that you said, how they're upset that he's actually going, is that he won't be in complete control, taking over from the manager, saying you have to play this way, you have to do this, you have to do that, or else you're getting sacked, like we saw with Mihailovic, like we saw with Seedorf, which were arguably our two most successful managers in the most recent years. And the ones who were like his yes man were the people who got the extended time on their contracts. So I think logically the best part is that Montella will be in a scenario where he can play how he wants and get the system and the players that he wants to fit the way that he plays, rather than what Berlusconi wants and then what the manager wants, and then it conflicts. So hopefully the investments can help Montella, but I don't necessarily think he needs a massive influx of funds to actually qualify for Europe. I think he just needs a quiet scenario where he can just do his business.
Yeah, maybe a few missing pieces is all that he really needs. But as you said, this will be definitely the next transfer window will at least be a transfer window which Montella can make his request. Not like he hasn't in the summer, but as you could see, maybe the names that he has requested just won't arrive just yet due to the situation that's going on regarding the loans with the obligations, the transfer funds not coming in immediately. So this could be very good for Montella. Finally, you can see a coach at Milan requesting players like many, or if all, English managers. I think that's they all do that in England. They actually
Get what they want.
yeah, they get what they want when they want, right? And we'll finally see that situation at Milan, hopefully, in January. What do you think about that, Marco?
No, I think Adamo hit the nail on the head when he said that it's not just about buying players. And I think my favorite part is that they will stick to a plan. I think Montella and even Mihailovic, I like Mihailovic, and I think that a team needs time to build. They can't expect results in less than a season and then fire a guy and then you start from zero again. And I think what Adamo said about Berlusconi keeping his yes man, I think that's one of the downfalls to that. I think Montella has a system. We're seeing the players say that they like the way that they're playing. They're playing possession-based. They're playing beautiful football. And we've seen signs in some friendlies, of some nice football that needs to be brought back to Milan. And I think that's going to be my favorite part about the Chinese takeover. Not just the money, because it's not going to come right now, but hopefully they understand business. They understand that things take time and it's not going to come overnight or even in a year. It's just making that little progress within over 3 years, 4 years, and then Milan could be back to where they need to be.
Well said, well said. Guys, on a side note, before we continue, please leave your questions in the comments section if you guys want us to answer any particular question throughout the live stream or near the end of the live stream. We will gladly answer your questions, so make sure to do that. But Marco, very good points there, and that is why, once again, I want to bring up Marco Fassone, the former Inter director, because he could possibly take Galliani's place, and a lot of people, let's be honest, I've been so frustrated with Galliani over these past few years because, like I mentioned before, it's not like the transfer funds weren't really there, because last summer we got about 90 million euros worth of funds, but were they spent in the best way possible? I don't think so. And a lot of people are actually blaming Galliani for certain signings that were made. Now we could possibly see a new director, a new CEO coming in, taking over the business, and what do you think about him? Do you know a bit of information regarding Fasone? What kind of signings he could possibly make, or what kind of transfer strategies he really has?
I think that, like you said, it doesn't come down to just one person. You know, it's not just Berlusconi or it's not just Galliani who's at fault for everything going wrong. But I do think that he may be in a different stage of where football is, similar to like Berlusconi. And I think getting some new blood in there, getting some new, people who understand now. It's hard to say names of who a director could bring in, but I do agree with you that 90 million in transfers, you could do a lot more with that. Sometimes even teams who have less of a budget, they do more by finding, good deals, not just spending 20 million on a player who can't bring it to you, So I think that it's going to be a lot about strategy rather than just splashing the cash. They need to work out well, and again, build on Montella, build on one plan, and stick to players. Because if you buy a guy for 20 million, 1 year, or Bacca for 30 million, and he works under Mihalovic, right? The next year you fire Mihalovic. Let's say Montella comes in and he doesn't like that player. You just wasted 30 million on a player that you didn't need. So you got to get players who are going to stick with the plan. And I think that maybe it's best if Galliani does leave. They got to see how it goes with the Chinese owners, but I don't know. Maybe it could be a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. They need players that will develop into potential stars, maybe at the club, and we could see that already. Certain young signings made, such as Vanjoni, and of course, I wanted to speak about him because I didn't really get a chance to speak about Gustavo Gomez. That is AC Milan's latest signing. Adamo, you made a video, I believe, a few days ago regarding him. We know a bit of information regarding him, but I'm not really sure what kind of player he is in terms of what he could bring to the team. We know he has signed the contract until 2021 for a reported transfer fee of 8.5 million euros. Now, he's a very physical defender from what I've read, but do you think he could complement Romagnoli very well this season? I mean, really, it's a very young center-back duo that we're going to be seeing here with Romagnoli and Gustavo Gomez playing together. What do you think this pairing could do this season under Montella?
Well, I mean, hopefully they do, find fluidity within each other. I'm not sure which kind of role they're expecting Gomez to have, whether he's going to be a starter or whether he goes behind Paletta or something of that sort. But I'm sure eventually he'll get integrated into the team. He's definitely a leader from what I've seen or from what I've heard and what from people have told me that I've asked around about. And, obviously he has the qualities to sort of, take the game by storm, I guess you could say, because he's very, very aggressive. But I've heard that that's kind of his only downfall, that sometimes he kind of lacks discipline. And, he goes too hard into challenges or will kind of put pressure on a player when he shouldn't, so he might leave open a gap. But hopefully him and Romagnoli can, find a good connection between each other and, a good understanding. Because I think that's definitely something that they're going to need at Milan, sort of consistency between the center backs. As you see with Juve, for example, with Chiellini, Bonucci, and Barzagli, that's arguably the best backline in the world, not mainly for the fact that they're amazing players, but because of the unit that they hold together. So I think it's very, very important that Milan do, find a connection between a pairing of center backs rather than keep on switching, as we've seen in previous years with Mexes, Romagnoli, Zapata, Romagnoli, and just keeps on going and going and going. So hopefully Milan do find some sort of fluidity between their two center backs.
Yeah, it was like there was a different pairing almost every match. Like, what kind of consistency do you want to build from that? I just don't get it. But yeah, I think it's a decent signing. Once again, I have to see how he plays before judging him. I can't just make any pre-assumptions already. I know he has won trophies, but it was done in Argentina. Now, I'm not shitting on the Argentinian league. I'm not saying anything against it. But, coming into the Serie A, it's a whole different challenge. Yeah. It's a whole different thing. So hopefully he does play to his expectations. People are saying good things about him, like Adamo mentioned. So hopefully he does pair up with Romagnoli very well this upcoming season. Now, let's speak a bit about some players that could still potentially come to Milan. Of course, over these past weeks, the main name has been Juan Cuadrado, Marco. And really, there's been news going back and forth regarding Cuadrado. Some reports saying that he's finally going to come. Other reports saying Chelsea just won't accept anything less than a significant transfer fee. And it seems that Milan could actually make a new offer for Cuadrado, according to recent reports. This could be done in the next few days. But what's your take on Cuadrado? Do you think he could come in to this team? I know that he wants to return to Italy at all costs, but do you think this summer he could potentially come back to Milan, or we're going to have to wait maybe as a potential winter transfer target?
I think that Cuadrado could be probably the best. Milan could be the best place that Cuadrado could go to at the moment because I think that he has experience in Serie A. He's clearly done very well there, and I think that at Chelsea, you know, Conte does want him. It's arguably one of the reasons why he left Juventus, Conte. So he's definitely a Conte-esque player, but he hasn't been, you know, he wants to come back to Italy. I don't think Juventus is a possibility for him at the moment. And I think Milan is a place that he could build on. He does have a high transfer demand, but maybe with a loan and options to buy or obligations to buy in the next transfer window, they can sign the player that they want.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But once again, I think Cuadrado would be a very good signing if he actually does come in. Will he arrive this summer? You know, everything is still possible. There's still like about a month left in this transfer window. Anything is still possible. Will he come? It all depends on Chelsea, I think, in my opinion, what they want, because Milan can only do loan with obligation to buy at the moment, and it's not a very appealing offer made by Milan. You know, when you think of something, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take, I'll pay you later. You know, it's not something that, yeah, it's not something that many people will be like, oh yeah, sure, let's do it. You know,
Yeah.
people want to see the money front, like they want to see it right away. They don't want to be waiting for any payments. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, other names. There's also been reports speaking about Januzaj possibly being the alternative to Cuadrado. Young player, very good potential. If he comes to Milan, he's definitely going to do well, I think. Adamo, what's your take on Januzaj?
I mean, I haven't seen too much of him, but I know that, you know, he's definitely a hungry player and wants to get as many minutes as possible, because at Manchester United, you know, they deemed him as this fantastic player. I'm pretty sure he took Ryan Giggs' numbers. That's like a really big deal to them. And then, you know, he just went on loan to Dortmund, and then things kind of fell through and didn't really fit in the system. So I do think that he's definitely hungry to, you know, kind of reimburse, I guess you could say, his career. He's still very, very young with tons of potential, as you said. But I think Milan could definitely use a player like him should we not be able to get Cuadrado. And, you know, I think that, you know, what he could offer to the team would be something that, you know, we don't really have in a lot of players. He's definitely, you know, somebody who can take on defenders. And, you know, he has a lot of pace and he's a big guy. So if Montella likes him and it fits his system, I think he would be a perfect player if we can't get Cuadrado. So, you know, hopefully that deal would go through should, you know, Chelsea not be willing to let go of him. But speaking on Cuadrado, I think the main thing about him is that, you know, it's going to be down to him. I think he's going to have to force a move out of Chelsea. So I don't think Conte is going to want to let him go. But I do think he'd rather return to Italy, as he's made pretty clear. And I don't think that he's going to be wanting to sit behind Willian in the starting lineup, which will probably be the case because he's arguably one of Chelsea's best players, and he has the work rate that Conte loves. So him and Cuadrado are pretty much identical players, I guess you could say. So I don't think he'll be too happy about that. So I think he will try to force a move to Milan. And I think, you know, previously being under Montella, that Milan would be the ideal destination. So I could see him coming to Milan. I think it's more chances that it would happen than not, but not by much. But if he doesn't come, I would definitely gladly accept Januzaj as a replacement. You know, I think he could definitely fit in at Milan should Montella want.
Yeah, I mean, he's a solid replacement, that's for sure. But speaking about the midfield now, because there's also talks about Kovacic, of course. I think he was one of the very first targets for Milan in this transfer window, if I'm not mistaken. Galliani tried several meetings with Madrid. They didn't want to let him leave. And now it seems that Zidane actually wants to keep Kovacic at Madrid, given that he had a pretty decent preparation in this preseason, and he's actually guaranteeing him a pretty vital role in this following season to come. So Kovacic seems to be gone. Not 100%, of course, because anything could still happen, but it seems like that target is gone. But the more likely targets are Sosa, of course, a player that has been spoken about for a very long time, as well as Bade, a player that I believe played under Montella back in Fiorentina. Marco, Sosa or Bade, what do you think about these two players?
I mean, I heard today that they can only get either one of Sosa or Cuadrado because of the non-European. So if it went down to that, and since Montella already knows Badeli, I would go with him. Sosa, I mean, he is trying to force a move out of Turkey, I understand. They're saying that his family, he just wants to get out, and he wants to go to Italy. I really don't know much about him. I think he's like 31 years old, midfielder. I mean, I think that Badeli might be the best option. But again, similar to like what Adamo said before, I think it's what Montella wants and what Montella thinks that could take this to the next level, whether it be get Badeli and Cuadrado or on the other side get Sosa and Januzaj. They're not bad options for Milan, and I think it comes down to what Montella wants.
Yeah, well said. I think so too. I mean, in the end of the day, it's going to come down to one of those two. I don't think we're going to be getting many midfielders, also because we're going to have to wait for players to get out. You know the whole thing at Milan. You got to get rid of one to get another one. You know how it works.
Loan deals.
Yeah, you got to love those loan deals. But guys, for this last part of the live stream, as I said before, a lot of fans and subscribers have been sending in their questions regarding players, regarding possible transfer targets for this Milan team managed by these Chinese investors now. Sorry, I just read a funny question from Macaroni. He's like, Marco, thought you were out of the house.
I was. Michael, if you guys know our channel, Italian Football TV, my partner is Michael. I left him in the city. I'm here, and then I'm going to go back. We're working on something. Thanks, Mac.
Always on the move, guys. Always on the move. Always. But let's read some of these questions. There's a guy called Clayton. He says, what do you think about the Shio going on, possibly going to Juventus? I mean, this has been talked about for a really long time. 25 million, it seems that is what Milan want at least for the Shio to go to Juventus. Marco, I guess you could answer this question the best.
Yeah, I don't see it. That's a lot of money, 25 million. I mean, if Milan could get it, I mean, that'd be great. I mean, we saw Deschilio under Conte. He did well. I think he needed the belief of a coach. He's young. I don't see him fitting in at Juventus now with who they have at that same exact position. But there is that video. I don't know. Did you guys see that video with Allegri and Deschilio where apparently he said, like, I'm going to bring you back to Torino? It's like half cut off, so it's really hard to tell. But, yeah, I don't think this one's going to happen personally.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think his agent has been saying over these past months, Deschilio's staying at Milan, he's staying at Milan, there's no way he's going elsewhere. And, you know, I just don't see Deschilio at Juventus for some odd reason. Also because I don't think he's going to be in a starting position with so many great names at Juve. I just don't see Deschilio getting that starting position, and he's a player that needs to play. He can't just rot on the bench, just to say. Now, Adamo, this is a particular question regarding the Chinese investors. Alexander, he's asking, do you think that Maldini will eventually be in this whole setup? Of course, there's been talks regarding former players being or possibly getting a part of this Milan management. But you know how it was with Berlusconi. He didn't really approach any former players and inviting them to being part of the managing team. And it's just been a whole discussion regarding these former players like Maldini that never was really proposed a role to the team. But what do you think? Maybe with the Chinese investors, do you think maybe some former players like Maldini could potentially get a role in the future?
I mean, I definitely hope that'll be the case. You know, obviously Maldini and Galliani, Berlusconi, they didn't really work anything out too well. So hopefully now Maldini can be brought in. He can bring his ideas to Milan. I think it's kind of ridiculous how Milan didn't give him a role right away, because right when Zanetti retired at Inter, he was automatically given a role right on the spot. Because you know, when you give so much to a team and you commit yourself to that squad and the club, you know, they pay it forward by giving you a role later on. So it's like if Totti wasn't given a role at Roma. You would think that's completely ridiculous. And Milan actually went to that extent to not give Maldini the role because of their own personal egos, I guess you could say. Now the question is he going to want to come to Milan? I think is the big thing. 'Cause, he's starting to do stuff in the MLS with Nesta, and he's trying to, do his role here and there to try to get some experience in the footballing industry, I guess you could say. So I think the real question is, will he come to Milan? I think the Chinese investors will definitely want him to come, not just for the fact that he will have a role, because I don't think they really care about Maldini. I don't think they are big Milan fans. I think they just want to make money. But I think it will definitely be their primary tactic to sort of win over the fans, because
as a presence, maybe.
And automatically everybody's going to think, okay, they know what they're doing. They're giving us what we want. So I think overall the big picture will be that the Chinese investors will bring him in to try to give a good omen to the fans and say, we're starting a new project. This is a fresh layer, and get ready for the new season because it's going to be great, something to look forward to.
Yeah, maybe it could be like the picture of AC Milan, like a very outstanding figure. They're just standing as the face for the fans or something. But yeah, that is a very good argument to me there, Adamo. But yeah, he said, I remember in an interview he did a few months ago or a few weeks ago, I don't remember exactly, but he said that under Berlusconi there was like almost no chance that he was ever going to even accept a role because of the difference in ideas. So maybe this time it could actually be the right time for Maldini coming in. Maybe not right away. I think it's going to be something more long term, but I think that he deserves a role at Milan for everything that he's done. Now, guys, I'm going to end it off with one big question, and it's going to be about Carlos Bacca, because this guy has been flying around in terms of, I can already see Marco walking away. He's like, shit, I got to go. But this guy has been flying in rumors. He's been linked to so many teams, West Ham, Atletico, different teams altogether, and no one knows what's going to happen with Carlos Bacca. Of course, Montella expressed, or at least that's what the fans understood, that he's not a striker that will fit under his system. Of course, there's Lapadula now. I still think that we need another striker altogether, because I know there's Niang, I know there's Lapadula, but we need someone that will give that certainty, that will bang in the goals this season, because you can't just give... yeah, that's right. You can't just give... you just can't give it up to Niang and Lapadula to assure you that you're going to be getting those goals. So what do you guys think? Carlos Bacca, now that the Chinese investors came in, do they need to get rid of him to fund this transfer window, or will they remain with pretty much the same core of players, work on maybe on these transfers with the loans and obligations to buy, and just focus in the winter where they need to sign players? What do you think about Carlos Bacca? Will he stay or leave? Marco.
I think that Carlos Bacca is an interesting situation. We heard a lot of stuff that Montella doesn't like him. He's not a striker. Then we heard that he wants Champions League. He was going to West Ham. He didn't make up his mind. I think that it comes down to the player's will. I think if he really doesn't want to stay, it's best to let him go, because you never want to keep a guy like that. And if he doesn't fit under Montella's system, which I can't really imagine a guy that guarantees you goals not fitting under it, then I think that he could stay. But he needs to make a decision now. I think Milan need to make moves if they are keeping him or if they are selling him, because a lot of things are being held back on this deal. And yeah, it's been another annoying one. We heard that West Ham, he was going there, but then they didn't sell Sacco. He failed his medical. Some crazy stuff like that. So if he really wants to leave, I'd be like, you know what? Bye-bye. Milan could get somewhere just as good. But if he wants to stay, then keep him.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Adamo, your thoughts on Bacca?
Carlos Bacca, the legend himself. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy is off the rails. Okay, maybe he's scared. Maybe he's a little shaky. Maybe he's afraid. He saw Milan's last top goal scorer, Menez, go to Bordeaux, gets his ear chopped off.
Yeah,
he doesn't want that to happen. Okay? He's on the lookout for the ear chop off action. Okay, he's watching out. He's got to keep it keen. So he's picking his club wisely. He's not going to France. He doesn't like that business. So personally, I just think on a serious note, he got a bit too greedy. I think he wanted Champions League because he's at that age where he doesn't want to just waste his time playing at Milan where he's not going to get anything done. I mean, yeah, you're going to score some goals, whatever, but realistically, you're not going to look back at those years that you spent there as something positive. You're not going to really win much. You're not going to win the Scudetto. You're probably not going to win the Coppa Italia, and you're not even in Europe. So what's the point of staying there? So I think, he got a bit greedy. He didn't want to go to Europa League with West Ham and all those problems that Marco mentioned, of course, with Sacco and such. So that kind of, got cut off. And he probably wanted to go to Atleti, but, they were going for Kevin Gamero, and then they didn't really, maybe they didn't want him as much, or they didn't want to pay the fees, or, didn't think he was worth it. But overall, if he wants to stay, like Marco said, I gladly keep him. I mean, he's a great player, but if Montella doesn't think he fits his system, I think you have to get him out at all costs, especially if he doesn't want to be there. I think he's just going to, kind of be, dragging the team down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I think he's going to end up staying. I think maybe if he does get an opportunity to play in the upcoming preseason friendlies, maybe Montella could see something in him. But once again, that all depends on the player himself. If he doesn't have the will to actually stay at Milan, I mean, so many times he said that he wants to be at Milan. He likes being here, even though they're not in Europe at the moment. But maybe the whole situation with the Chinese investors, he knows that investment will come into the club. He knows that the club will get better, and potentially they will be qualifying for Europe next season. Maybe he could decide to make one last sacrifice this season. Could that be it? I don't know. But in my opinion, I just don't see him going to countries such as France or England. I just don't see Bacca there for some odd reason. So I think he's either going to Spain, to some team in Spain, or he's going to remain at Milan. That is my breakdown on Carlos Bacca, and that is one beautiful picture.
Look, we got him with us.
Adamo Ritaco. Just look at him. Watch those ears, though. That's what counts. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for the live stream. Don't forget, you guys can still send in your questions to us in the comment section. I will be responding to you guys after the live stream. So keep sending those comments in, those questions in. Also, once again, a kind reminder to subscribe to Marco's YouTube channel, Italian Football TV. Lots of great content. He literally broke the internet with that Pogba video just a few days ago.
We're going for number 2.
Those Juve balls. Those Juve balls.
So make sure to check out his channel. Lots of news on a daily basis, and also, of course, much content related to the Serie A. Even though you're not a Milan fan, you just like the Serie A in general, check it out. And also, don't forget to follow him on Twitter. Follow Adamo on Twitter. Adamo, when the hell are you starting your channel? Like, come on. Now you got to announce it.
I got to get prepped, all right? I got to get
prepped. Yeah.
I need the lighting. I need the lighting, the cameras, the action. I need it all, all right? It's coming. It's coming.
All right.
We'll be waiting.
Stay tuned.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Once again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything going on at AC Milan on a daily basis. And I'll catch you guys later for another video. See you guys later.